Welcome all to the session on indices and surds. In this session, we will be focusing on the questions given on indices surds in TS ICET examination as well as in AP ICET examination. Ee topic ganaka manam AP ICET lo gaani TS ICET lo gaani chuste the number of questions that appeared from this topic range from 4 to 6 questions, and the number of questions minimum will be 4, and most of the slots we had 5 questions on this particular topic. And indices and surds topic lo indices topic veruga untundi, surds topic veruga untundi. So this particular slide will be mainly focusing on the questions based on indices, right? And we will be focusing on the questions that appeared in the examination over the last 2 years, right? If you look at the first one, the question is mainly focusing on 800 into 102 square plus 98 square is how much is the question. So if you are observing from our school days, we know a square minus b square is nothing but a plus b into a minus b, right or not? So this is appearing to be in the form of something like a square plus b square, whereas this 800 can we write in the form of a square minus b square? First we'll focus on that one. So what we will do is we will look at this in terms of those two terms that are given there. So what we will see is 102 square minus 98 square is in the form of a square minus b square. So if you look at this one, writing it as a plus b into a minus b, what is in place of a? We have 102, and in place of b emundi manaki 98. So a plus b will become 102 plus 98. A minus b place lo manaki em rayachu 102 minus 98. So basically that is 102 minus 98 will be 4, and 102 plus 98 will be 200. So 200 into 4 is nothing but 800 or not. So that means what we can say, 800 can be written as 102 square minus 98 square. So if we write that one as 102 square minus 98 square, that is multiplied with what? 102 square plus 98 square. Right. So now this is in the form of a square minus b square into a square plus b square, right? Which we can write it as a power 4 minus b power 4. So in place of a we have 102. So that will become 102 power 4 minus 98 power 4. This is given in choice B there. So answer for this question should be choice 2, right? So in that way we can simplify this particular question. So we don't require any specific knowledge for answering this question. Only one small point. If you know that a square minus b square is a plus b into a minus b, and a power 4 minus b power 4 is nothing but a square plus b square into a square minus b square, we can answer this question. So let's look at one more question that was given on indices and surds, and the question is mainly focusing on making the comparison. If you look at the problems on indices and surds, specifically on indices and specifically on surds, one of the important models that we'll be expecting on indices is basically making the comparisons, right? Or finding the value of unknown basically. In this particular case, we will compare these two quantities and we'll find the value of the variable. So if you are looking at this one, the right hand side is having the powers in the form of a ladder of steps, like 2 to the power of minus 1 raised to the power of 3 to the power of 4. In that way we have. So whenever we have steps or the powers given in the form of a ladder like that one, always we will be coming from top to the bottom to arrive its or to find its value. So if you are looking at what is the first number there, 4 is there, that is raised to what? 3. So 3 power 4 is basically 81. So what we can say is 16 to the power of 2 to the power of minus 1 to the power of 81 we are having there. Right. Now this will be further taken up in this way. Minus 1 to the power of 81. Minus 1 raised to even power will become plus 1. Like minus 1 into minus 1 will be plus 1. But minus 1 multiplied with what we can say odd number of times, like minus 1 into minus 1 into minus 1, it will become basically minus 1 again. So here if you are observing, the power is odd number that we are having there. So it will become basically minus 1 only. So what we can say further, it will become 16 to the power of 2 to the power of minus 1. That is what is the thing. And we have a small point from our indices topic. A to the power of minus n is nothing but 1 to the power of 1 by a to the power of n. So this we can write it as what? 16 to the power of 1 by 2 power 1. So further we are writing this as 16 to the power of 1 by 2 power n. So, in other words, 16 to the power of 1 by 2. That is nothing but square root of 16. Square root of 16 is how much? 4. Right? So, left hand side, if you are observing, it is in the form of an equation. Whereas it's the right hand side, it's simply 4 we can say. So, coming back to the equality there or equation given there, 4 to the power of 4x minus 8, we know it is equal to 4 to the power of 1. So, what we can say is, now the bases are equal. As the bases are equal, we can make the comparison between the powers or the indices. So, what we can say is 4x minus 8 should be equal to 1 then. If 4x minus 8 is 1, 4x will become equal to, bringing that 8 to this side, it will be 9. So, 4x is 9 basically indicates x is 9 by 4. So, answer for this question should be 9 by 4. Right? So, definitely if we are aware of the concept that how to find the steps, the value of for that steps, if they are given in the form of a ladder, you can answer this question easily. So, this is also one more question that can be doable, and this is given in the recent examination. Right? Let us look at one more question focusing on, again, comparison only. I mean, equation form basically that is dealing with. So, if you are observing there, 5 to the power of a minus 2 into 5 to the power of a plus 4, if it is equal to 625, how much is the value of a? So, this is in the form of something like a power m. This is in the form of a power n. Right? And we know from our indices basics, a power m into a power n. If we have the same base, then indices will be added. That means it will become a to the power of m plus n. Right or not? So, in the same way, if you are observing here, 5 to the power of a minus 2 should be added to a plus 4 to get that a power m plus n value. This is equal to what? 625. And 625 we can say it is 25 square or 5 power 4 basically. So, left hand side if you are observing, 5 to the power of 2a, a plus a is 2a plus 2 we are having there basically. Right or not? That is equal to 625 is 25 square or 5 power 4, because 25 is 5 square to the power of 2, that is will become 5 power 4. So, what we can say then, as the bases are again here also equal, we can equate the indices. So, 2a plus 4 will be equal to 4, or in other words what we can say, 2a is equal to 2, right? If 2a is equal to 2, a is equal to 2 by 2, that is 1. So, what we can say, answer for this question should be choice 4. So, again based on the same concept, that is making the, multiplying the numbers with the same basis, we will be adding the powers. If you know that concept, we can answer this question. So, based on the rules or laws of indices, this question basically is focusing on. So, let's look at one more question, and I'm erasing this part. Right. So, let's look at one more question. This is basically dealing with the different ways of representation of the same number. Which is the greatest among 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 3, then 3 to the power of 333, 3 to the power of 33 cube, and finally 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 33. We have the same number 3 is repeated in different forms, and we have to make the comparison. Right? When we have to make the comparison of such numbers, again, first number is already in the form of the steps, ladder steps we are having. So, we will be comparing, or we will be calculating its value coming from top to the bottom. So, 3 to the power of 3 is basically 27. 3 to the power of 3 power 27, we can write that one as, right? And in the second case, 3 to the power of 333 we have. Now, if you observe all the bases there, they are basically equal already we are having. 33 cube is basically 33 square itself is 1089. So, 33 cube will be 1089 into 33, which will be very big number we will be having. 89 into 33 will be having. And the next number is 3 to the power of 33. Right? In all the cases, already we have the bases as same. Base is here 3, 3, 3, 3 in that way. So, we have to make the comparison between the powers there and identify the greatest there. So, here the index is 3 power 27. 3 power 27 is definitely greater than 333, because 3 cube is 27, 3 power 4 is 81, whereas 3 power 5 is 243, 3 power 6 is 729. So 333 is definitely lying between 3 power 5 and 3 power 6. Whereas here we are having 3 power 27. So definitely this is much bigger than this one. Same way, 3 power 1089 into 33 is much more than 333, right? And if you are looking at 3 power 27 will become, and here already the base we have considered. So I can say the base is only 1089 only will be making the comparison, because already the base is 3, we have removing that one, 1089 into 33. So 3 power 6 itself is 729. 7 will be 2187. 8 will be 6561. So 3 power 27 will be much bigger than this value we will be having. So that means what we understand, among the first 3, these 2 can be ignored, right or not? So the comparison is only between the first one and the last one. The first one is 3 power 27 and the last one is 3 power 33, because anyway 3 we won't be considering, because that is a base that we are having there. So in that case, what we can say, as 3 power 33 is definitely greater than 3 power 27, answer for this question should be 3 power 3 to the power of 33 is the greatest among those 4 numbers. So slightly time consuming question, but the advantage that we have with this particular question is already the bases are same. Sometimes the bases may not be given as same. Like instead of 3 power 333, suppose if you are having 33 power 33, here I cannot make this as directly 3. So what we will do is, we will see how this can be written in the form of powers of 3. 3 cube is 27, whereas 3 power 4 is 81. 33 lies between them. So we will write this one in terms of powers of 3 as 3 cube to 3 power 4 to the power of 33. In that way, we will be converting that into the base as 3, and then we'll make the comparison. So if it is already given in that way, we don't have to worry about that. If it is not given and it is given in this form, just convert this to the base as 3 and then make the comparison, right? Let's look at one more question that was given in the ICET examinations in the recent past. Right. So let's look at this question. If a minus 1 by a is equal to 4, what is the value of a square minus 1 by a square whole square is the question. So a power minus 1 by a is given as 4, and we know a plus b whole square is, in terms of a minus b whole square, if you are looking at, is nothing but a minus b whole square. To that, if we add 4ab, we get basically a plus b whole square. Instead of b, in this particular case, we are having 1 by a. So what I can say is a plus 1 by a whole square will be equal to a minus 1 by a whole square plus 4 into a into, in place of b we are having there 1 by a. So in other words, what we can say, a cancels. So it will become a minus 1 by a whole square plus 4. If we consider that one, that will be equal to a plus 1 by a whole square. How much is a minus 1 by a is given as 4. So a minus 1 by a place lo 4 substitute cheste, 4 square 16, daniki manam 4 add chestunam. So that will become basically 20. So a plus 1 by a whole square is 20. That implies a minus 1 by a will be what? A plus 1 by a will be what? Under root 20. But the question is not asking for how much is a plus 1 by a whole value. The question is focusing on what is a square minus 1 by a square whole square. So can we rewrite this one as a plus 1 by a into a minus 1 by a whole square or not? Because a square minus 1 by a square is nothing but a plus 1 by a into a minus 1 by a. A plus 1 by a value manaki enta ochindi? Root 20 ochindi. And a minus 1 by a is given as 4. So we want the square of this product. So there are two ways. We can multiply them and square, otherwise square them and multiply them. So here squaring and multiplying is easy. Root 20 square will become 20. 4 square will be 16. So 16 into 20 is 320. So that means what we can say, answer for this question should be 320. So 320 is given in which choice? Choice 1. So in this way we can answer this particular question. A square minus 1 by a square, if we know what is a plus 1 by a value and a plus 1 by a and a minus 1 by a relationship. Once we know that one, we can answer this question, right? So these are the different types of questions that ICET focused on indices and surds, right? And if you look at this particular session, mainly focused on the questions based on indices, and in the coming sessions we'll be focusing on this indices and surds, focusing mainly on the questions based on surds. Thank you all of you.